Justice for Vaughn. Yo, what did 50 Cent just do? Out of nowhere, the rap mogul lit a match and threw it straight into Chicago's drill scene. And now King Von's name, and his entire OTF legacy, is trending in ways we never saw coming. Fans are shocked, bloggers are scrambling, and even folks in Von's old circle are posting cryptic messages. What started as a random comment from 50 turned into an all-out storm, with people now asking, was 50 trying to expose something, or is he low-key working on something big? Word on the street is that 50 Cent's new TV project might just be pulling from real-life events in Chicago. And guess whose name was allegedly dropped in the pitch room? Yup, King Von. And now people are wondering, is this just inspired by true events, or is someone trying to rewrite history while folks who were there are still grieving? Tensions are high. OTF affiliates are clapping back. One of Von's cousins even said, "Tell that man stop playing with legacies he don't understand." And the craziest part? We got exclusive details on the behind-the-scenes drama, the silent moves 50 made before this popped off, and why this might be about more than TV. Buckle up, cause this ain't just about rap. This is real-life drama disguised as entertainment. 50 Cent, yes, Curtis Get Rich or Die Trying Jackson, wasn't even on Chicago's radar last month. He's been busy with Hollywood, running his empire, launching shows left and right. But then out of nowhere, he drops a line during a live stream on his production team's Instagram that completely flips the table. Sitting with his writers for his new show, tentatively titled The Trenches, 50 casually says, "Y'all know, if Vaughn was still here, this whole city would be different. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a character." Just like that, the internet exploded. The clip went viral within hours. Fans were torn. Some took it as a compliment, like 50 was showing love to a fallen legend. But others, especially those close to Vaughn and the OTF circle, they weren't having it. One user commented, "Don't call him a character. That man lived and died real life. This ain't power." Another wrote, "You using Vaughn's name to push your show? Weird flex." And the reaction didn't stop online. Back in Chicago, the tension got real. Lil Durk, Vaughn's brother in Everything But Blood, posted a now-deleted IG story with just 3 words. "Keep my brother's name." Nothing else. But that silence said everything. Because behind the scenes, a storm was already brewing. Sources close to 50's G-Unit film and television studio claim he's been in talks for months to develop a gritty Chicago-based crime drama. The catch? It's allegedly inspired by real events including, and this is the explosive part, a loose dramatization of King Von's rise and fall. Now that's where things start to get messy. A confidential source from the writing team claims that Von's name was used directly during the development meetings. One writer reportedly pitched a character modeled after a real-life drill rapper who had multiple bodies and a magnetic, dangerous energy. Everyone in the room, apparently, knew exactly who they were talking about. That same source alleges that one of 50's producers said, "If we can get clearance from the family or switch the name, this could be the next big thing. Bigger than BMF." And y'all already know how sensitive things are in Chicago when it comes to authenticity and respect. You don't just name-drop the dead, especially not King Von, and expect everyone to smile. Vaughn wasn't just a rapper. He was a symbol. To some, a hero. To others, a menace. But what's undeniable is that his life and death carried real weight. Real pain. Real blood in the streets. So the idea that someone, even someone as big as 50, might fictionalize that pain for TV didn't sit right with a lot of folks. Especially those who knew Vaughn personally. Just days after the clip went viral, Vaughn's cousin Los went on IG Live and let off a full rant. "Y'all Hollywood people weird as hell. You don't know what we went through. You ain't carry no casket. You ain't pull up to no hospital. Don't try to turn my cousin into a damn episode." That live alone had over 3 million views in 24 hours. Emotions ran high. Vaughn's name started trending on Twitter again, but not because of new music. Because people were arguing over who gets to tell his story. Is it the family? OTF? The streets? Or someone in a Hollywood office trying to chase another Emmy? And as the backlash grew, 50 stayed quiet, for a minute. But if you know anything about 50 Cent, you know he's never been one to back down from a controversy. Instead, he leaned in. He posted a screenshot of a headline, 50 Cent faces backlash over comments about King Von, and captioned it with, "Y'all acting like I said something wrong. I said what I said. Von was special. That's why his story needs to be told." Boom. Just like that, he threw gasoline on the fire. Now, to understand why this situation's so explosive, you gotta go back. See, Von's rise wasn't just another rapper from the trenches story. It was complicated, beautiful, violent, tragic. He was the embodiment of duality, cold and calculated, but also charismatic and loyal. His life was already a movie, but the thing is, his people believe it's not up for sale. According to inside sources from OTF Circle, Von had always been wary of the industry exploiting his image. One person close to the label said, "He used to say, if I go, they gon' try to turn me into pack. But I ain't no martyr, bro. I'm me." So to hear his name thrown around like creative material, that hit deep. But here's the wild part. This controversy didn't just affect OTF. It also reignited some long-buried drama between 50 Cent and Lil Durk. Yeah, you heard that right. Remember back in 2015 when 50 did a promo run for his mixtape and casually threw a little shade at Durk, saying, "The new dudes don't hustle like we did. They soft." At the time, it blew over. But according to a source close to Durk's camp, he never forgot it. In fact, when 50 reached out for a potential feature in 2018, this is unconfirmed, but reported by multiple underground blogs, Durk left him on read. Now fast forward to this Von drama, and people are speculating, is this really about storytelling, or is this 50 taking a jab at Chicago, and Durk through art? And while the fans debate, the industry is watching. Because this situation is now putting executives in an uncomfortable spot. Do they back 50 and the potential TV goldmine his drama promises? Or do they distance themselves from the narrative out of respect for Von's legacy? One streaming platform exec, speaking anonymously, told a blog, "We've been pitched the concept. It's gritty, raw, and absolutely marketable. But the Von connection? That's a red flag. We can't touch it unless the family signs off." And that's the twist nobody expected, because now it's come out that 50 allegedly reached out to Von's mother. A source close to the family says a rep from G-Unit reached out with a respectful proposal, offering compensation, creative consultation, and even a producer credit if she'd allow her son's life to be adapted into fiction. But according to that same source, she told them hell no, and hung up. Mic drop. Now this puts 50 in a tight position. He's got the momentum, the pitch, and the platform, but not the permission. And if he goes forward with this storyline without family approval, it could spark a war, not just with OTF, but with a community that already feels like the industry cherry-picks pain and turns it into profit. And let's be real, this wouldn't be the first time. Fans are already drawing comparisons to Netflix's Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, where families of real victims protested the use of their trauma for views. They're saying, don't let Von become another Netflix moment. So what does 50 do now? Well, knowing him, he's probably already reworking the script, changing names, altering timelines, adding legal distance, but still pulling from real moments. And even that? It's not sitting well with fans. Because as one tweet said, change the name all you want. We'll still know who you're talking about. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, people close to Von are rallying. A few of his unreleased songs, ones that he allegedly told friends were for the people, not the labels, are being teased by DJs in secret studio sessions. There's talk of a new Von mixtape, executive produced by Durk and OTF, set to drop this year. And the goal? To take back the narrative. As one OTF affiliate said, "Y'all not gon' tell our story for us. We got it." But the tension? It's real. Rumors are already swirling that G-Unit's production team is scouting locations in Chicago, that they've met with local actors, even hired a few drill scene consultants. Which only confirms what many feared, this show is happening, one way or another. Because while 50 Cent may be prepping his next hit TV show, Chicago's not sitting silent. And the OTF camp? They're moving like this as a matter of honor, not branding, not business. Word is, ever since that clip of 50's writers meeting surfaced, the vibe around Von's old block has shifted. Whispers in the streets. Quiet tension in studios. And more importantly, Von's people are mobilizing. According to an insider, who asked to remain anonymous for safety reasons, Lil Durk called an emergency meeting with a few trusted members of Von's inner circle. It wasn't for music. It wasn't for press. It was to talk strategy. The insider said Durk was visibly emotional but focused. His exact words? "They think 'cause we grieving, we weak. They think 'cause we lost Von, they can just rewrite him. That ain't happening." And apparently, that meeting sparked something serious. Over the next few days, several members of OTF began cryptically teasing a legacy project on social media. No details. No names. Just the OTF chain emoji, a black heart, and the word real. Now, fans are going wild with theories. Is it a docuseries? A posthumous album? A documentary? One thing's for sure, whatever it is, it's meant to counter the narrative that 50 and his team are allegedly putting together. But the deeper this story goes, the more fractured things are becoming, even inside Von's own camp. See, not everyone is totally against the idea of a dramatized show. In fact, one of Von's older cousins, who lives in LA now and works in entertainment, reportedly told an indie podcast, if the story is done right and with respect, it could immortalize him. People forget fast. A show might make them remember. That caused a mini firestorm online. Fans accused him of trying to chase clout off Von's name. Others defended him, saying maybe this was a way to control the story from inside. But either way, the family is clearly divided. Even Von's mom hasn't spoken directly since allegedly turning down 50's offer, but those close to her say she's angry and hurt that this is even happening. One source says she recently told a friend, they can make all the shows they want. They'll never capture who he really was. And honestly, she might be right. Because while Hollywood loves drama, what made Von different was that his life wasn't scripted. It was unpredictable, complex, a mix of savage and soft, of loyalty and pain. You can't put that into a season arc. But let's talk about what 50's camp is doing now. Sources say production on the show, now unofficially titled The Trenches, is ramping up fast. And guess who they just brought on board? A Chicago-born writer who used to be affiliated with the drill scene. That's right. They're trying to legitimize the script from within, bring someone in who knows the lingo, the energy, the real dynamics of the South Side. And while that move might make the show feel authentic, it's also angering folks who feel like the production is buying street credibility to cover up the fact that they're still telling someone else's story without permission. One Chicago producer tweeted, "Just 'cause you hire someone from the city, don't mean you got the right. That ain't respect, that's manipulation." And the tension reached a boiling point when a leaked scene description from the show surfaced on Reddit. According to the leak, the main character, codenamed Cairo V, is described as a young Chicago rapper with a dark past, feared on the streets but loved by the youth. The plot? He rises through viral fame, juggles beefs and betrayals, and is ultimately gunned down just as he tries to leave the game. Sound familiar? Fans immediately began piecing together parallels to Von's life. His hit records, his street rep, his rise through storytelling, and even his tragic death in Atlanta. The timing, the tone, the entire arc, it was too close. And that's when things got really dangerous. A known OTF affiliate posted a chilling Instagram story with just this line, "Keep playing with our bro's name. Let's see how far you get." It was taken down hours later, but the screenshots were everywhere. Blogs picked it up. The streets were buzzing. Some took it as a warning, others as a declaration of war. And in the middle of all this, 50 Cent still hasn't backed down. In fact, he doubled down. He went on The Breakfast Club for an interview to promote another project. But of course, Charlemagne brought up the controversy. When asked about the backlash, 50 smirked and said, "Look, people emotional. That's understandable. But I tell stories. That's what I do. Nobody owns pain. Nobody owns truth. That one quote sent Twitter into another frenzy. Nobody owns truth. People were livid. Fans accused him of dismissing Vaughn's family and reducing a real-life tragedy into a TV opportunity. And yet, 50 didn't flinch. Because in his eyes, he's telling a story that needs to be told. That the streets deserve to be seen on screen. That Vaughn, and others like him, lived through things the world needs to understand. But that's the problem. Understanding ain't the same as using. And that's the line 50's now accused of crossing. Back in Chicago, even some other artists are chiming in. G Herbo tweeted, "Some stories ain't meant for scripts. Let them rest." Lil Reese posted a cryptic message on IG. "Y'all gon' learn stop playing with certain names." Even Tink, who rarely comments on drama, posted a single black heart with Vaughn's initials in her story. This ain't just industry chatter anymore. This is turning into a full cultural debate. Who gets to tell our stories? When someone's gone, do we protect their legacy? Or do we let it be reimagined for entertainment? And deeper than that, what happens when money talks louder than morals? Because let's not lie, the trenches would go crazy on TV. The same way BMF, Power, and Snowfall blew up. People would watch. Networks would make millions. And somewhere along the way, maybe the name Cairo V replaces King Von in people's minds. And that's what OTF is trying to stop. Word is, Dirk has already reached out to his legal team to explore options. From image rights to possible injunctions if any clear likeness of Vaughn is used without consent. But in the world of TV, that stuff is slippery. If the names are changed and the details blurred, it's all technically legal. But just because it's legal, doesn't mean it's right. And that's where things stand now. The lines are drawn. 50's team pushing forward. OTF preparing to respond. The streets choosing sides. And in the middle of it all, Vaughn's memory being pulled in every direction. And in the middle of it all, Vaughn's memory being pulled in every direction. While some fans are glued to every update, others are calling for silence and respect. But in this era of virality and algorithms, even silence gets manipulated. Vaughn's name is now a trending hashtag again, not because of a new track, not because of a tribute, but because the internet is locked in a debate over whether Hollywood owns pain or if the people do. But behind the noise, something unexpected happened. An anonymous file drop hit a small Chicago-based blog, a folder titled Project OTF True. The folder contained alleged pitch documents, sample scripts, and even private notes from a writer's room. Most notably, a full character breakdown that all but confirmed that Cairo V is based on King Von. One line from the breakdown read, "Cairo V is haunted by his past, driven by loyalty, and destined to fall not because of his enemies, but because of the system built around him." Fans immediately latched onto that. The system? What system? The streets? The industry? Or something deeper? That's when a former OTF engineer, one who worked closely with Vaughn in his final months, came forward anonymously. He claimed Vaughn had a recorded voice note where he talked about feeling watched, pressured, and even shadowed by people trying to use his story. That voice note, to this day, has not been made public. But the engineer said, if they turn Vaughn into a storyline, they better get it right. Because he knew people were gonna try this. He was prepared. Prepared. That word shook people. Could it be that Vaughn, even in life, knew his legacy would be targeted? That he knew his story would be taken, edited, remixed, and spun into profit by those who didn't know his pain? Now, things have taken another dark turn. A well-known drill YouTuber, who tried to publish a video analyzing the leaked script, had his video pulled down within 5 minutes. Not demonetized. Removed entirely. He received a copyright strike, a vague legal notice, and shortly after, a DM from someone claiming to be affiliated with the production. The message read, "We see what you're doing. Back off before this becomes legal." Let that sink in. A content creator trying to defend Vaughn's legacy, being silenced? Meanwhile, 50 Cent is still on the offensive. A few days after the controversy boiled over again, he tweeted, "Some of y'all acting like Vaughn ain't tell stories in his music." He put it all out there. "I'm just picking up the mic." And that right there is where the line between homage and exploitation gets blurry. Yes, Vaughn was a storyteller, but there's a difference between telling your own story and having it told by people who never walked your path. And fans know that. The culture knows that. Even other legends know that. Meek Mill weighed in subtly with a tweet that read, "We gotta protect our narratives." That's how history gets rewritten. T.I. reposted a mural of King Von with a caption, "Some kings deserve peace, not primetime." Even Snoop Dogg chimed in during a podcast appearance, saying, "There's a fine line between honoring the dead and capitalizing on them. We've seen it too many times." And through all of this, one question keeps rising. What would Vaughn say if he was here to see this? Would he have wanted his story told through a Hollywood lens? Would he have approved of 50, someone who wasn't from his city, his circle, his war, turning his life into a plot twist? Or would he have handled it the way he handled everything else, with fire, with loyalty, and with no filter? Because what the world forgets is that Vaughn wasn't just another street rapper. He had layers. He was writing a book before he died. He was thinking about acting. He had ideas about mentoring young Chicago talent. His team says he was trying to build something bigger than music. And now, that story risks being reduced to Hollywood fiction. But here's the most surprising twist of all. Sources inside Stars, the network that worked with 50 on Power and BMF, say there's internal disagreement about the trenches. One executive reportedly said, "We don't want to be part of another Dahmer-type situation. If there's real controversy, we might pause the deal." That's huge. Because if Stars pulls out, the show could collapse, or be forced to move to a smaller platform. But you already know 50, he's not one to stop. He'll take it to YouTube, Amazon, wherever. If he believes in a story, he'll tell it, no matter who gets hurt. But in this case, the people being hurt ain't characters. They're family, friends, a community. And that brings us here, to this moment, where the culture has to decide. So here we are. Once again, the legacy of a black artist is being debated in boardrooms, retweeted on timelines, and tossed around like it's just content. But King Von wasn't content. He was real. He was complicated. He was ours. 50 Cent says he's telling stories. But the streets are asking, whose stories? Who gets to decide how King Von is remembered? Because this ain't just about one TV show. It's about legacy. It's about respect. It's about what happens when the industry thinks it can rewrite trauma to fit a plotline. If Von's people, his family, his friends, his city, don't sign off, then who's really benefiting from this story being told? And more importantly, who's left picking up the pieces when the credits roll? Now we want to hear from you. Do you think 50 Cent crossed the line? Should Hollywood stay out of real-life drill culture? Or is this just the evolution of storytelling in the entertainment world? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us where you stand. And let the world know, Von's name still means something. If you're riding for the truth, hit that like button. Smash that subscribe and turn on those notifications.